You don't watch history. You become it. Today you are Abraham Lincoln, the president who broke America to save it. But you are not born as a saint carved in marble. You are not born with a monument behind you, school children reciting your words, or a nation pretending your choices were easy. You are born poor. You are born on the edge of wilderness. You are born into a country that speaks of liberty, while millions are still chained. And one day, that contradiction will tear the nation open in your hands. Before the beard, before the speeches, before the war, before the theater, you are a boy in a rough cabin, surrounded by mud, trees, work, and silence. Your family does not have much. The world does not expect much from you. You are tall, awkward, strange, hungry for books in a place where survival matters more than learning. You split rails. You work with your hands. You borrow books when you can, read by firelight, and teach yourself the shape of words. There is no grand path prepared for you. No royal tutors, no family fortune, no powerful name opening doors. If you want a future, you will have to build it from almost nothing. And that becomes the first lesson of your life. A man can be made by what he refuses to accept. You refuse to remain small. You become a store clerk, a soldier for a short time, a surveyor, a lawyer, a storyteller, a politician. You learn people by listening to them. You learn power by watching who has it and who does not. You learn that a joke can disarm a room, but silence can reveal more than speech. People underestimate you because you do not look polished. They see the long limbs, the rough face, the plain clothes, the strange humor. They do not yet see the iron underneath. But inside you, there is also darkness. Not evil, not cruelty. A deep melancholy that follows you like weather. You laugh, but sadness stays close. You tell stories, but you know grief. You rise in public life, but privately you understand how heavy a human mind can become. This matters, because one day, the country will need a man who understands sorrow. Your political life grows inside a nation arguing with itself. America calls itself a republic of freedom, but slavery spreads across its fields, courts, churches, markets, and politics. Every compromise only postpones the explosion. Every argument about new territories becomes an argument about what America really is. Is it a nation moving toward liberty, or a nation built to protect bondage? You are not the loudest man at first. You are not the most famous. You lose elections. You return home disappointed. You watch other men rise, but the question of slavery keeps pulling you back. Then comes Stephen Douglas. The debates make your name larger. You argue that the country cannot remain forever half slave and half free. Not because you think change will be simple, not because you know exactly how the future will unfold, but because you see what others try to avoid. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Those words follow you. They frighten some people. They inspire others. And they mark you as a man who understands that the center cannot hold forever. In 1860, you are elected president. But victory does not feel like celebration. It feels like a fuse being lit. Before you even take office, Southern states begin to leave the Union. They do not wait to see what kind of president you will be. Your election is enough. To them, you represent the future they fear. A federal government that may no longer protect slavery's expansion. The country begins to split. One by one, states secede. Flags change. Armies form. Old friendships become enemies. And you, a man who once came from almost nothing, now stand before the collapse of the American experiment. This is the cruel beginning of your presidency. You inherit a country already breaking. You do not want war. That part matters. You are not a general hungry for glory. You are not a tyrant eager to crush enemies. You know war will mean widows, amputations, burned towns, empty chairs, and boys dying in fields whose names they did not know the week before. But you also believe the Union cannot simply be allowed to dissolve. If a democracy can be destroyed every time one side dislikes an election, then the experiment has already failed. So when Fort Sumter is fired upon, the question becomes impossible to avoid. Will you let the Union die, or will you call the nation to arms? You choose war. Not because war is noble, because surrendering the Union feels worse. And from that moment, every death has your shadow behind it. The Civil War does not become clean, quick, or glorious. It becomes mud, smoke, disease, confusion, fear. An endless list of names. Fathers lose sons, brothers fight brothers. The nation discovers that its own body can be turned against itself. And you must read the reports. You must replace generals. You must answer grieving mothers. You must keep border states from leaving. You must hold together a government under pressure from every direction. Radicals say you move too slowly. Conservatives say you go too far. Abolitionists demand moral clarity. Unionists demand military survival. Enemies call you dictator. Allies call you weak. And every day, the war asks you the same question. How much blood is one nation worth? At first, your central mission is union. Preserve the union. Save the union. Restore the union. But war changes the meaning of words. The longer it continues, the clearer it becomes that the union cannot be saved as it was. A nation built half on freedom and half on slavery has already poisoned itself. You begin to understand that preserving America may require changing America. That is where the Emancipation Proclamation enters your hands. It is not perfect. It does not free every enslaved person immediately. It is bound to military necessity, limited by geography, shaped by politics and war. But it changes the moral direction of the conflict. The war is no longer only about whether a union of states can survive. It is about whether a nation that speaks of liberty can continue to tolerate human bondage. With one document, you turn the war into something larger. You also make peace with the South harder, because now, if the Union wins, slavery itself may die. That makes you hate it more deeply. It also makes you necessary. Still, necessity does not make the burden lighter. You visit hospitals. You see shattered bodies. You see young men missing limbs, missing eyes, missing futures. They look at you with trust, pain, and questions you cannot fully answer. You give speeches, but speeches do not resurrect the dead. You sign papers, but ink does not stop the screaming. The war drags on. Then comes Gettysburg. For 3 days, the armies collide in Pennsylvania. When it ends, the fields are covered with the cost of the Republic. Thousands are dead, wounded, missing. The air itself seems heavy with what the nation has done to itself. You come later to speak. The speech is short, too short, some think. But you understand something important. Grief does not need decoration. You say the nation was conceived in liberty. You say the dead have consecrated the ground beyond your poor power to add or detract. You say the task belongs to the living. You say government of the people, by the people, for the people shall not perish from the earth. It is not just a memorial. It is a challenge. Can democracy survive its own blood? Can freedom be reborn from civil war? Can the living be worthy of the dead? These questions become the center of you. In 1864, you do not know if you will be re-elected. The war has exhausted the country. The casualty lists are unbearable. Many want peace, even if peace means compromise. Even if peace means leaving the central wound unresolved. You fear you may lose. But then the war shifts. Sherman takes Atlanta. Union morale rises. Your re-election becomes possible, then real. The country gives you another term. Not because everyone loves you. Many do not. But because enough people believe the work must be finished. Then the end approaches. Union armies advance. Confederate strength collapses. Richmond falls. The rebellion that once threatened to destroy the nation is dying. You could choose revenge. Many expect it. After all the blood, after all the insults, after all the hatred, you could make the defeated South crawl. But your mind turns elsewhere. Malice toward none, charity for all. You want reconstruction, not endless punishment. You want the country restored, though not as it was. You want slavery ended. You want the Union preserved. You want the wounds bound up. But history is cruelest when hope returns. On April the 14th, 1865, you go to the theater. The war is almost over. The future is still uncertain. But for the first time in years, there is a little air in the room. You sit in Ford's theater, not as a marble statue, not as a saint, but as a tired man who has carried too many dead. John Wilkes Booth enters the box. A shot, a scream. A nation that survived war is wounded again by hatred. You do not wake. The next morning you die. And almost immediately the country begins changing you. The awkward politician becomes a martyr. The controversial president becomes a father figure. The tired man becomes a monument. People carve away the doubt, the politics, the hesitation, the compromise, the mistakes, the ambition, the sadness. They leave behind the version they need. Honest Abe, the great emancipator, the man who saved the Union. And yes, you were those things, but you were also more complicated. You were a politician who understood timing, a president who suspended freedoms to preserve a nation, a man who hated slavery but moved through caution before moving through revolution, a leader who chose war and then had to live with the bodies, a human being turned into a symbol so large that the man inside almost disappears. That is why your story still matters. Because saving a nation is not clean. Freedom does not arrive without argument. Justice does not move at the speed the suffering deserve. And sometimes, the person history praises most is the person who had to make choices no one should ever want to make. So now the question belongs to you. Was Abraham Lincoln the savior of the Union, or the president who broke America open to rebuild it? Did he move too slowly on slavery, or as fast as history would allow? And if you were in his place, with the country collapsing and millions in chains, how much blood would you risk to save the idea of America? Comment below, because this story is not only about Lincoln, it is about whether a nation can survive the truth it was built to avoid. And remember, you don't watch history, you become it. Today, you were Abraham Lincoln.